All right, thanks everybody for coming to the View School community meeting. My name is Nathan Herrera with SVA Architects. I'm the project manager for all the Hermosa Beach schools. And so we're here to kind of recap some things that we've learned in some previous community meetings, go over some of those items, some updates, and kind of give a general progress update of where we are in the bond measure. So if you've been to or heard any of the previous meetings, you probably heard some of this spiel already, which is that we are currently working on the schematic design, which is the first phase of the design, for all three sites at the same time. And the goal with that is to sort of lift all the projects to a certain level where we can check and evaluate all the costs, look at all the costs, three campuses together. If we have any budget concerns, we need to make decisions, we can make them globally rather than doing the campuses one at a time where whoever becomes last in line sort of gets short shrift, which happens a lot when you sort of have this fixed budget. So we're going to work on all three projects, build them up, evaluate everything, and then be really confident moving forward with our schedule that we'll be able to deliver the improvements planned out for all three campuses for North, Valley, and View. In the current schedule, North would be the first project going, and then View School would be the second project going. So completed, and most of the improvements completed in time for the start of the 2020 school year. So first, I want to kind of recap some of the comments we had at the sort of global community meeting on February 1st about the site, and some of these later will show some updates of things we've already done on the site plan to address some of these. We had some questions about parking. The new layout includes the exact same number of parking spaces as the current layout. So there are 46 spaces, including the few that are in the city right away on Prospect to remain. We got questions about security, fencing around the campus. So we'll show you on the site plan how we sort of will now have a secure front edge to the campus all along Prospect. So during the school day, there is no way to get onto campus but to check in at the admin office and sort of go through the proper procedure. Questions about open space and play area, and we'll show you the current site plan and how the play areas are slightly adjusted. The opportunity for outdoor learning areas near classrooms is discussed. The admin area right now is very, very small at View, so there's concern about not having any meeting space for guests and visitors. So we'll be rebuilding the entire admin and front of the school, and it will have a lot more conference rooms and meeting spaces available for guests and for staff to use compared to what's there now. There were concerns about after-school programs and other programs having enough storage space, and in our large new building, we will definitely have quite a bit more storage space than sort of consolidated than anything that's on campus now. We'll show you the revised drop-off configuration. Questions about appropriate play equipment. So yes, we will certainly, the new plan will require us to buy new play equipment, and we'll actually have a segmented kindergarten play area separate from the rest, so that there is kindergarten appropriate play equipment and a sort of enclosed kindergarten play area, and then other play equipment for the first and second graders separate and completely new. There were concerns in the last version of the plan, and we'll kind of show it in a second, about the kindergarten classrooms not all being in the same place, and we've looked at that and consolidated them all at the north end of campus. So all the kindergarten classrooms, all 7, are together in one building and immediately adjacent to the outdoor play area. And then there's questions about the kindergarten classrooms, and we can show, but they're next to a portion of staff parking, but the front doors for all those classrooms on the opposite side of the building from the parking. There is a secondary exit door that we need for code on that side, but the primary side will all enter on the south between that and the other existing building. So the students won't be walking adjacent to the parking lot any normal time. So I want to kind of take a look at 3 versions here, and this is the View plan pre-bond measure as part of the facilities master plan. The kindergarten classrooms were all in a new building at the south end of campus, and there was a new 2-story building at the north end of campus with additional new classrooms and only 2 of the 3 bar buildings were shown to stay, but the 3 classroom buildings, but all those really want to stay. They're all in equal shape, and they've had some improvements done over time. They have new windows, so those should all stay. And in this case, there is a large grade difference between the classroom level and Prospect. And so what we really want to do is take advantage of that grade difference to lower the height of the 2-story building. So we don't need to build a 2-story building at the upper level that extends up at the level of people's houses, but we can actually build down into the level of the parking drop-off at Prospect and take advantage of that, so none of the buildings will be any taller than the existing buildings are now. So this was the version that was shown at the last plan on February 1st. The sort of purple shaded buildings are the existing classroom buildings, and the multipurpose building to stay and be modernized. And the blue buildings are the new buildings. So the building parallel to Prospect is partially 2 stories. The lower street level is shown off to the left. And on the lower level would be the admin, the sort of library learning center, and some flexible space. And all of that space opens directly into the parking lot. So if you are coming into the campus once school starts, you have to check in at the admin. You can go through the admin area and then up the stairs or elevator up to the classroom level and onto campus. But that'll be the only way on once class begins. But we would build a big new large stair there, so pick up and drop off, and there's active times. There's a big wide entry right in the front to bring everyone onto campus. The building on the north was 5 of the 7 kindergarten buildings before. We listened to some of the comments about having all the kindergarten together, and we've updated the plan attached. So what we've done is extended the new kindergarten building at the north so that all 7 classrooms are up there and immediately adjacent to the kindergarten play area, which is in the northwest corner, the upper right corner of the plan, would be all new kindergarten play area. A few of the other things that this did by moving a little bit of program out of the new 2-story building, we actually get a slightly larger central courtyard that we can improve and use for all the students right in the middle. And it kind of better positions everything overall. A few of the other changes we've looked at as we kind of called out, and everyone's free to come look at this more closely with the keynote number 12 is where we kind of established the fence line parallel to that new building across the entire front of the campus. We heard some comments that right now the only way to get up to the play area level is there's a stair and a switchback ramp. It's kind of a choke point to constrain the students. So down there at the south end of campus, the southernmost bar building, I'm going to look at building a secondary set of stairs so that students at that building or in the new building at the front, we'd have 2 ways down from the play area to the classroom areas. And so those are a few of the kind of tweaks that we've made to the plan to try to listen to all those comments and kind of really give the most successful project. And with that, I want to just kind of open it up and give everybody a chance to have any questions or comments.
I just have a Hello? I just have a clarification about where it says lower street level, so that it would actually be under what we see in the lower level. Yeah.
So it's just kind of popped out, but this occurs right here.
Right.
So it's the front half of this building is 2 stories, but the lower story is dropped instead of raised.
Okay, great.
Is that upper left building, is that the NPR building?
Yes, that's
Is that being touched at all, or is that?
The interior of the NPR is going to be fixed. Right now it's split in 2. It's not really functional as an NPR so that the kind of STEM classes can be held in part of it. So the idea is that when that flex and the library function move into the new 2-story building, the NPR gets opened back up to function as a proper one larger room.
And then that new blue building along the north end, is that right up to the fence line where the parking lot is now?
So the, I don't have a great aerial of the existing. The parking now has a sort of diagonal parking, and the north end of it is sort of center of where the parking lot is now. So there's still one row of parking to the north to remain.
Oh, I see, okay.
But,
Oh,
so
okay.
it does have a pretty good, it's about 45 feet
Oh,
from
I
the
see,
fence
I
line
see.
to the north, to the edge of that new building
So
now.
that manila, like that beigey color, that's all parking?
Yes.
No, that's a play.
Oh.
Up here, that's all parking.
Yeah.
There's a access road and a row of parking to the north of that building still between that and the fence line.
Oh, I see, okay.
Did you, unless I missed it, did you talk about the revisions to the pull-out off of Prospect into the drop-off zone?
I did not. So take this again. The plan is, rather than having the drop-off is sort of now you have to pull into the site and go through the parking lot and kind of turn around to go back out, is to have one long continuous drop-off lane north-south along the front of campus. So right now, right where we now show a kind of walkway into the campus, that's where the curb cut is now to pull in to those front parking spaces. That'll be closed off and just used for pedestrians crossing the crosswalk and coming into campus. And the new in and out for the parking and drop-off will be sort of all the way to the south of the building, right near the existing intersection. So it makes sense to line it up with the existing intersection. Just north of, there's a large existing tree there. So we'll try to see if we can slot it in there right at that south edge.
Nathan, what energy or sustainability measures are you taking at View School?
Yeah, so that's going to be a big priority at all of the campuses. So big top of projects, the existing buildings don't have great energy efficiency lighting. They'll get all new LED lighting throughout. They have rather loud and inefficient heaters that are inside of the ceiling space of the classrooms. So we'll get much more efficient equipment to heat and cool those. It'll also be outside, so it'll be a lot quieter and a sort of better learning environment inside those classrooms. I think those will be sort of big improvements. The new buildings we're going to build sort of super efficient, and the best way we can do that is to build a really great exterior envelope of the building to really knock down the amount of energy required to heat and cool the space. And so rather than looking at things like solar panels right up top, the best return for your dollar is always to spend a little more money on the outside envelope, make the best building that you have, and knock down the amount of energy you require to use to run it as much as possible. And then you can always go and, if the budget allows, install solar panels to take up some of that energy use. But the best return is always to just make the buildings use as little energy as possible as the baseline, and then look at the solar panels, which we will certainly be looking at if we get, the budget can afford it. Yeah.
I actually have 3 questions. I can go one at a time. First is, you alluded to it on one of the previous pictures, but can you kind of show where that fence and the entrance, like how you would come in during school? I get like there will be a stair kind of in the middle there,
Yeah.
but how are you picturing like during the school hours? You said that there's only one way in.
Okay, I'm going to go
Sorry.
leave this here so I can. Okay, but I'll just talk very loudly. The new central entry stair is right here.
Right,
Center of
yeah.
the campus. So that will be open at the beginning to end, and then have some rolling gates to close itself off during campus. So this on the lower levels admin, that's where everybody's going to be coming in after our, and so the gaps left are this end, which is going to be kind of up a hill, but will be fenced off, and the entrance to the upper parking, which will be a fence that can be opened for teachers to use get into the parking in the morning, and then closed off, and a gate up there that's closed off so it's not accessible during the day.
Okay. So then you have to come in through the lower level of the new building check in the office, go up the stairs of the elevator and out the other side of it. That's the idea during school time.
Yes, the idea is to, visitors have no choice but to check
Go
in
through
and
a
see the
building.
admin.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, I get it. So at the top, the second question is on the lower level, you said the admin is kind of the north part. What is projected to be in the kind of bottom, the southern two spaces?
So the
On the lower
southern two
level.
spaces are enlarged versions of what's in the NPR now. So sort of
The library
flexible
and the-
technology lab and the learning center library space. And while they look kind of separate in the plan when you look them out there, the stairs and elevator to get down to that level are actually right in the middle of that building. So it's
Right,
very
yeah.
convenient to get to from the upper level.
Yeah, my only question, why I'm curious about that is because theoretically, I guess the back wouldn't have natural light because it'd be into the hill, right?
Yeah,
Only in the front.
They'll only have glass at that lower level on the west side of the building.
Okay. All right, my third question, sorry. So the kindergarten play area, you said there will be play structures suitable for kindergarten, which will go in that northwest corner. Where, and you mentioned a play structure, I think, for the first and second graders. Where would that go?
So somewhere in the sort of central tan area called asphalt play area, we would locate the new first and second grade play equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I just have a question. When people exit the school and you're not supposed to turn left onto Prospect, is there a mindful way to make sure that they don't turn left onto Prospect? Because they do.
Yeah. To the extent to which we can control anyone's behavior.
But is there kind of any planter thing that just like forces a right?
We could look at kind of turning the exit so people are kind of pointed right as they leave, and make it more inconvenient and difficult for them to flip around and actually go to the left. We
Okay.
can certainly look at that.
Okay, because do you find it a problem?
People turn left.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're driving north and you know it's a right turn only and then people just pop out, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, if you could take care of that, that would be
Yeah,
great.
we'll certainly look at that.
I have a question. Is, so, the 18th, Oh, I think we have TV. So when you come up 18th Street from PCH, is that, I kind of can't tell on the map, is that exactly the point where you would come into the campus or come into the driveway? Like, you said it hits the intersection, is that the intersection of 18th and Prospect?
Yeah.
Okay, I just can't tell from there.
Right here.
Okay, perfect. Do we know if there any plan to like maybe put a light there, another light, or a stop sign? Well, because there's no stop sign there now, so we might need. All the street-related potential changes are city issues, not school district, but we are going to be in coordination and conversation with the city, and a lot of street-related, sidewalk-related questions have come up, throughout, so. Okay, cool, thank you.
Yes.
I have a two-part question regarding the bowl, which is that area, that sunken concrete area that's sort of in the front. Will that be touched? Will that remain sunken, or how is that going to happen? And since you mentioned trees, on the north east corner of the bowl is a large tree right there, sort of at the top of those three purple buildings. Are those going to be touched, or are those going to be left? And just sort of what's your area, what's your, the bowl is sort of the outdoor meeting place for our lovely Southern California campus. And I'm just wondering how that'll either be retained or modified.
Yeah, so we've heard both that view and valley about sort of the character of the bowl central areas being important to the campus. So we're going to leave that. We are going to make some access-related improvements that we're sort of required to make by code, so to kind of better connect it for someone in a wheelchair. But the intent is to leave the bowl. And we'll have to check the tree. I can't say for.
I think it's probably safe because you're saying those purple buildings are not being touched. Is that correct?
Yeah, the purple buildings are just getting interior modernizations, and so the only way it would be touched is if it were sort of underneath or very close to the new kindergarten classroom, and we can look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Time to go.
Is this available online to see better, or?
Yes, so this last slide is the updated as of yesterday, so it's not posted yet, but we will give it to the district, and this will go up on the website. So some of the smaller lines are a little tough to read on the projector, but we'll get that online. All right, well, thank you, everybody. Or unless we
I have another question, sorry. Sorry to delay everybody leaving. But along the same lines of, you talked about kind of securing the perimeter. I know, like, currently off of Golden Street, I don't know who has the key, but somebody has a key, and you can open that up, so people can use the areas on the weekends. Is there plans to have some kind of similar access or something that the community would be able to use the fields, either after school or on the weekends?
I couldn't really speak to that. I think that the district would have to say, sort of policy-wise, what the access rules would be for after hours.
Well, would there be like a way, I guess, like a separate entrance? Or I guess the better question for you might be, is the only entrance through the front, or is there gates, other places that could be locked at times, or, does that make sense?
Yeah. Right now, there's sort of the 3 primary entrances along Prospect, but we can certainly look at if it makes sense to have the.
Yeah, like right now on Golden, which is
Yeah,
that one
at the
kind of
end
in
of
the
the-
middle there, there's a
The dead end of the
there's a
street
gate.
there. So we don't have any plans to change that right now.
I know it means a lot to some people, so.
All right. Unless there's anything else, thanks everybody for coming. And if you have any other future questions, please feel free to contact the district, and they'll pass any of those along to us. Thanks. Thank you.